Hello, greetings from Hyderabad. Today's event focuses on accelerated XM cloud implementation using Sitecore MCP, presented by Arun and Ritesh, hosted by Vishal and Yamini. Over to you, Ritesh.
Mm, s- Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
So, so I'll start. So happy Friday, everyone. And it's amazing to be here with Sitecore community at SUGHYD Hyderabad. And today's topic is accelerated Sitecore XM cloud implementation using Sitecore MCP. Uh, what we are trying to present today is the way industry is changing in last, and you all of know that things are changing very rapidly, like over last couple of months. And if you see from the last few years, we have seen how Sitecore reimagine what a digital experience platform can be, right? If you remember, from moving a composable architecture to launching XM Cloud, to introducing AI-powered tools like Sitecore Stream, and now we have a new stuff, not like it is released yesterday, but we have something called Sitecore MCP, which is your model context protocol, right? And what we are seeing, like a lot of innovation, and where we gone from headless to composable, and now we are stepping into a new AI native development world, right? Where you do design, you do code, content, and everything talks in the same language. Now, goal of the today's session is to understand how we can leverage uh, Sitecore MCP in your day-to-day engineering or implementation, what you do, right? And how we can get benefit of it. That's the goal. Quickly about, I am Ritesh, VP of Engineering at Icreon, and have been working with on the Sitecore product and projects from last 8 years. And Arun, you want to introduce
Yeah,
yourself?
yeah. Hello, hi everyone. I'm Arun Kumar. I'm working with Icon as a site core architect. I have 15 plus years of industry experience and I worked on multiple site core projects. I have done the certification in site core action cloud, CDP personalized as well as in order cloud.
So, so as I mentioned, like today we will be demonstrating how Sitecore MCP and AI-driven automation transforming way we build the how we build, deliver, and scale our DXP on the XM cloud. If you see traditionally, when we build the component in or template within the site code, there is a traditional predefined way. And now, as part of today's demo as well, we'll see like how we are doing it traditionally, and you all are doing in your day in, day out. But we will see like how we gonna uh, do the new way of development, right? So I'll quickly, what you can expect from today's session, as it's your valuable time. What you can expect from today's session is deep understanding of MCP, right? MCP, and what is the end-to-end technical workflow look like, how you can, how MCP accelerates your site code development, then more practical insights on development process, automation, how schema gets generated, and other components related to the uh, development of components and templates using MCP, and how at the end we'll see like how we can leverage both AI and MCP together in our day-to-day life, right? So first thing, let's understand what is this uh, MCP is, and I'm sure few of you already is aware about a lot of information is available around this, but just to bring a baseline. So MCP is an open, stands for all we know Model Context Protocol, right? It's an open protocol that enables your seamless integration between large language application and external data source and tools. What it means is, so far, LLM is like we are giving hands to LLM. What it means that LLM already have that level of intelligence where it can generate the content, any information for you when we use ChatGPT or Gemini or any other AI tools, right? But now, based on that brain, MCP provides them, it has a hand to start doing work on behalf of us, right? So it's like giving LLM hands to do the work, right? And MCP uh, allow LLM not only to talk, it allows making action. For example, if I say like reading, creation, updating, deleting an item from the database or files from CMS, these are the actions which MCP can take on behalf of us on top of LLM, right? So that's a overall concept of the MCP. It's an it's as I said, it is an emerging open standard, right? And it can be integrate. You can use this MCP on top of any large language model, which will help you to interact more efficiently and action driven things which we can do using this. In terms of uh, what it can do, you can see on the slide like it bridges the design and development. It means it connects to your design system. Like as of today, you have Figma, right, and the Sitecore XM Cloud. But considering the capability of MCP, it can directly generate your metadata, which can be readily used into template and components, right? MCP gives you a set of standard language, right? Which uses uh, which understand the Sitecore data model. So as we are talking more in context of Sitecore XM Cloud, so it uses it within the it standardizes the interaction with your Sitecore, right? Obviously, it gives you accelerated build velocity where you can do same activities based on some predefined prompt or based on what you want to do while doing the development, right? And then it also does make sure that you have your consistency and governance within your execution model, which what it means is you when you are building a template or you are building a component, you can define those guidelines within your workflow, right? And you can get the uh, anything around your content structure, how you want to have a naming convention, if there are any accessibility we want to use. For example, in today's world, all these digital properties what we build, it has to be your accessibility compliant, right? Either it is WCAG 2.1, 2.2, right? So those kind of things are available. And the most important is like it is not like your integration layer, it is not middleware. It is it gives you an ability where you can build innovation. Like we last year we have seen that Sitecore Stream is one of the flagship product which Sitecore was announced, and it was being used now with XM and XP both. But this is something going next level where it gonna help in really fast track the innovation and the engineering, right? So that's all about MCP, what it means, how it helps your large language model uh, to give actionable instruction to do work on behalf of us, right? Feel free to add if you have any follow question, right? And we'll take it from there. So as I said, why MCP matters, like it is standardize your AI to Sitecore communication, automate schema and template generation. You try to avoid your manual work and leverage in your development works. And we'll see during the demo how it helps when we want to when we do the development in terms of actual implementation of template and that. Traditionally, as when I say traditionally, before MCP, right? If you see the way we are building currently, we create template, we create rendering, then we set up in the presentation, and then we do. This is a typical headless implementation before your MCP worked, right? When you develop a web page or anything in some cloud, you go, you configure your template, you build your rendering, then you get into the presentation, we set up those rendering and just do the mapping of the data which is coming from your Pixum cloud to your Next.js. You do that so this is a traditional flow, and it all is all manual. Before MCP or any AI driven ID, we used to do either uh, taking some help from Google or ChatGPT to do setup if there is any problem. Now, after having the MCP, this entire flow can be automated, right? But the important thing here is like we have to have a right set of prompt configured within while using the MCP driven development, right? So if you see the way new flow is work today, there are a lot of AI driven, AI enabled ID are available, right? For example, Cursor is one of the ID which is very uh, popularly used. There are other Cloud is there, and there are Vibe. There are different type of editors which I'm sure you all of are using it. Now, what we are doing is through this Cursor, we have these MCP defined within part of your integrated development environment, right? Where you can rightly invoke these MCPs, right? To get the information from your Figma. So the flow is like you have a Figma design in place where you know, okay, this is what the page layout looks like. In the page, you have component, for example, hero banner or a 50/50 component with text and images, right? So that's the layout which you define within the Figma, right? And that MCP takes Figma as an input, right? And also refer your Sitecore environment setup, right? Where you define the template, you define what will be the potential field within the template, right? So it sits in the central. It gives the instruction. Okay, take the what is needed from Figma, take that as a input. Take the what we want to build in the Sitecore, right? And MCP instructs in a sequential manner to build that agent template, right? So starting from Figma design, building the template, building the components, and at the end you have a final output ready. Definitely, it has to go through with the right uh, balance in terms of quality checks, testing, what we do. But we're gonna try to do that as part of this session to a demo, which will help you to understand how can you leverage it in your development process. Right. So that's what we're gonna do as part of this is a basic information around the what MCP is, how MCP sits in the workflow, right? What the benefit we will be getting as part of when you bring MCP in as part of your engineering workflow, and and we'll see as part of the demo how to leverage this. So maybe Arun, if you can
Yeah.
start the demo, right? And let's see how we are building uh, page layout template components as part of the using MCP. Okay.
Yes, sure. Sure. Thanks, Ritesh. So let me know once my screen is visible.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So to for the demo, we have some prerequisites. So first, we need a Sitecore instance, and Sitecore instance, we will use the GraphQL endpoint and Sitecore item API to get and set the data from the Sitecore. And second thing, we need the AI agent. As we discussed, there are in market, there are lots of AI agents available like Cursor, Visual Studio Code with Copilot, as well as the Cloud A desktop. But for this demo, we will use the Cursor AI agent. And third one, we need the Figma design. So let me go to the demo. So basically, this is the Cursor SDK. And first of all, we need to set up the si- Sitecore MCP. So basically, there are, as we discussed, we are using MCP, and there are two mechanisms to interact with the MCP server, right? First one is the standard input output, which is called stdio, and second one is the HTTP based. So currently, Sitecore has just recently last week launched the Sitecore MCP, which is HTTP based, and we have another MCP created by which is open source and created by Anthony TM, and which is based on the standard input output based mechanism. So to connect the cursor with MCP, we need to configure some username and endpoint in the cursor SDK. So to do that, we just need to go to the cursor setting tab, and here we have the option tools and MCP. So in tools and MCP, we can add new MCP here. So when we add new MCP, it will open the MCP JSON, and here we can define a number of MCP which we want to use. So first of all, let me explain you how we can set up the MCP for Sitecore. So
So I would like to add one thing. So as we are using MCP, there are two MCP available at the moment mainly. One is which is Sitecore outlet available by Sitecore, which is mainly for XM Cloud, right? The other set of MCP which is created by the you all already know maybe knowing the name Anton TM, right? So he is the guy who created the set of MPP which works with your XM Cloud, XM and XP as well, right? So if you want to do anything around Sitecore XP, that MCP also really helps uh, to do interaction using that particular set of MCPs. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So now I will explain you how we can connect the Sitecore MCP with the Cursor SDK. So if you open the documentation, here are the steps. Here are the steps how we can connect with the cloud desktop. So Cursor SDK ID, as well as the if we have another LLM client like VS Code, Cloud A Code. So all the steps are mentioned here. So we just need to, for example, if we want to connect to the cursor with the Sitecore MCP, we just need to copy this uh, settings from the documentation, and we will go to the MCP JSON in the Cursor SDK, and here we will just add that setting, right? And let's see. So for now it is connected, right? And let's add it again. Now save it. So it will it will ask for the we need to connect with the Sitecore XM Cloud portal to use the MCP tools here. So once we added, we will click on the connect. It will open the Sitecore Cloud portal and uh, ask for the access. So once we click on the access, and we can allow the select the organization and the project. Once it is selected, yeah. So it will take mm, some
Others, can
time.
you please go on mute?
How it says. So once it is connected or linked with the site correction cloud, it will load the all the tools. Tools are basically the functions, MCP function, which internally call the Sitecore backend API, right? So this is the one way, but there is a limitation as Ritesh told, there is a limitation with Sitecore MCP. We cannot, it is specially used with the XM Cloud only, but we cannot use this MCP with the XM or XP. So to use the Sitecore MCP with XM and XP, we have another option, the open source MCP, which is created by the Antony TM. So for that, we need, if you go to the documentation, so here in documentation, there are multiple tools which is implemented in this MCP. So these are the list of the tools which is available for this MCP. And for to use these tools, we need some configuration like GraphQL endpoint, right? With schemas as well as API key and a username and password, right? So we can set up the username and password in the Sitecore admin portal, and accordingly, I have already set up the credentials and MCP setting in the cursor SDK. So if you check it, if it is already showing the connector, and we have 153 tools available. So this is done from the Sitecore side. So same way we need to connect the Figma MCP. So if for to connect the Figma MCP, we have three ways. One is we can connect the Figma as a local for the local development, local host, and second is the uh, Figma has recently launched the Figma Cloud MCP. So second way is that, and third is the Figma standard input output based MCP servers. So I have connected all three MCP servers. I will show you the configuration how we can connect. So to connect let me go to the documentation. So for Figma MCP, so we for to connect the remote, so we need to use the this URL endpoint, Figma hosted endpoint. When we connect to the when we set up this endpoint here, so same way as we did in the Sitecore MCP server, it is already connected. Let me disconnect it. So it is already logged in. So I will show you how we can log in again. And so same way it is asking for the token to connect with the MCP server. So when we click on the connect, it will open the Figma endpoint and ask for the access. So once we click on the allow access, it will exchange the token with the cursor ID, and it will connect with the Figma MCP server. Now it is connected with the MCP cloud. So same way we have another option to connect with the local, right? So we can connect with the local host. So to connect with the local host, we need to set up. For that, we need a dev access, right? The dev mode access we need for the Figma. So here we have the option. Once we enable the dev access, then for example, if we don't have dev access, then we cannot see the or enable the Figma MCP here. So once we click on the dev access, we can see the MCP server setting here, and it is enabled, and source is the local server. So once local server, so it will this is the address we can put in the cursor settings. So it is also connected. And third way is the uh, as I already told you, there are multiple methods to connect MCP. So the third method is the standard input output, right? So for that, we need to put the command, and we need to generate the API key. So to generate the API key, we yeah. So to generate the API key, we need to go to help and account, and then go to account setting. And here we can generate the new token, and we can define the life of the token for how much time you want to allow the access for that token. So this is the three ways how we can set up the Figma MCP, right? So now let's move to the uh, component
So
creation.
just
So
to recap, like there are two steps we have performed. One is we connected with the Sitecore MCP server, and we also connected to the Figma, right? Just follow the steps so that there are multiple steps involved in setting up. So first is MCP connection. Now, second is what is the source of the design which you want to reference while doing the development. So that's a step to connecting with your Figma design. Yeah.
yeah. So now let me show you the Figma design for which we will do the create the component. So for example, so we will take this example, right? So this is a component, hero component, for which we have a title, description, logo, and image, right? So we can define the field by seeing the or reading the Figma design. So accordingly, we have already created the prompts on the basis of the Figma design. So our first step is to create the templates for uh, a template for that Figma design, right? So let me. So I will write some prompt. So uh, I will write the prompt, create template. Let me something. Let me disable all the Figmas for now. I will just enable one Sitecore and one Figma MCP server. Now I have written a prompt to create a folder with the name of the component at the location. So and these are the fields which will be the part of the template, right? So it will automatically create the template with these fields at the given location. So so when we prompt, we will submit this prompt. So now AI agent automatically create a to-do list on the basis of the prompt you given, and automatically create the template with the give list of the fields which we have provided in the prompt. So it will automatically agent AI automatically identify the tools which tool need to be executed based on the prompt, and execute the API, and write the information or create the template inside the site core. So it will take some time. So I will show you the location. So currently This is are my site. Currently, this is the folder. It is created here. Now it is creating folder, template, content. The same way it will create the fields. If you see all fields are created as per the field type we have defined in the prompt. So also it has also created the rendering parameter for this. So yeah, the first task is completed. So now our second step for the component creation is to create the rendering. So for that, I also have created the prompt. So when I write the prompt for the rendering, so same way in the prompt we have written the location where we want to create create that component, also name of the component we can provide in the prompt. Everything is in the prompt. So now it will create the component on the basis of the given instruction. So if you now go to renderings, my site, basically it perform the all these steps one by one and create the component in the site core. So this is the component created, and we have updated the component name. So parameter template is already automatically updated. Data source location updated. Data source template automatically updated for that component. So second step is also completed. Now the third step is to create or set up the component or rendering on any page in the presentation, right? So similarly, we have created a set of create a prompt which will create or add this component to a page. Uh, so in this component, we have in the my site first site, under in the about page, we will add a component named upticker, and we will set some dummy data with the AI using the agent. And third, we will set the presentation to the uh, home page. Now, now it will read the site node and find the create a to-do list based on the prompt. If we go to the presentation, my site, first site, and then about, will create. So it created successfully. So now if you see the data, so it has automatically created the data source item and added the content title, description. Automatically. So now it will set the presentation automatically. It's still working.
Now, I have a question, Arun, meanwhile it
Yeah,
works.
yeah,
Like we do in the template, we have two things, right? Image and hero image also. So we need to explicitly say that you have to go and upload some image there because the template has all the four fields, but in the data source, it is picking only two fields.
yeah.
So,
We need to explicitly mention that which field need to be updated with that image. We need to write everything in the prompt. Accordingly, Agent AI will create and update the content item for that field.
okay, then, but in the data source item, right, it should have those two fields, extra fields, right, which are created from the template.
Right. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, I think it is somehow I need to check this. I have already created the let me check. I actually I have already created that data source here. So let me use that for now.
No, no, that is fine. I was just asking because I had a query whether those two pieces are, because sometimes when we publish the template and push the data into the web, right, it might affect that also because it might be the images are not added, that is fine, but only fields should be visible. That is what I was thinking.
Mm, yeah, yeah. So mm, yeah. Yeah, so third step is also completed. I think I need to check the prompt again. So it has created the prompt has created this some other data source item. So I have already created the data source item with this name. So let me use that for now. And it has already set the presentation change based on I think there's some issue in the prompt. I need to recheck this. So let me add the component again. And this is the site upticker. So this is the automator step. For now, I'm doing for the demo, I'm doing just it manually. If I go to data source, this one, yeah, this is headless. And if I go to, yeah, so this is presentation is also set up. Now we can test the page using the GraphQL playground quickly. And if all the data is coming properly or not. So we can check here as header main. So upticker component, we are getting the data in the response. Now the final step is to create the UI. So for that, we will use the Figma node ID to create the component. So here we have given the Figma node ID. So to get this node ID, we will go to the Figma and here we can click on this and we can just copy the link. It will get the node ID or you can just get from the URL. So we have it will automatically create the folder under the component. We have given the location where this component will be created, name of the folder of the component, and component name and CSS file. Everything we have written mentioned in the prompt. So now,
CSS, did we write or will it write?
sorry.
CSS file, you're mentioning that CSS file will be written, right? So we are just
Yes,
giving a prompt to write the CSS, right?
right, right. So it will
Okay,
write
okay,
the CSS based on the Figma design. So it is not the
okay.
100% accurate or matching with the Figma, but most of the almost we can say 50, 60 to 70% design will be achieved using this.
Okay, okay.
So from a Figma perspective, you know, initially there might be you need to do some reprompting, right? In terms of when you get the first iteration, you may need to do some refinement in the prompt itself to get the best result. But it really helps when you have a full user story written and put passing that user story input for the generating using MCP. So it's a big complex user story. Definitely it helps you 50-60%. And keep refining your prompt and you'll get the better output.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I think
now
we
see,
can ask the we can get the requirements from BA and we can put it here maybe.
So that's the next level, like the way we use currently in our engineering. If you have a user story, right? Take that user story and let's try to refine your prompt based on the understanding like what you want to do, because you are working within the context of your project, right? So suppose you are building a abc.com, you know what is the abc.com is all about, right? And this particular environment understand overall context of your abc.com, right? It understand. And the
Mm-hmm.
best part is you are playing within the privacy of that, right? When I say privacy, it's not like information is being shared on the cloud publicly, right? You have an opportunity to say, okay, keep all the information private within this instance, right? So that kind of settings are also available, which is really helpful.
Yeah,
Putting the
that
yeah
was my next
governance.
question because privacy is very much needed because
Yeah,
if content and the components are all available on the web, then that is of like not more secure site, right? So
100%. So that's what we all build stuff for our client, right? We don't want to expose everything publicly. So those kind of privacy, security, not
so
security settings are there to control that. Yeah,
so
which
yeah,
is what.
so there is an option or by default privacy mode is enabled if we using the paid cursor account.
okay, we do have paid
Yeah.
account and this one. Okay.
Yes. 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 So now you can see the MCP agent has created the module CSS automatically, created the component, created read the field types based on the template we have created in the backend, and the component is ready. Now, if you go to and try to run the page, uh, about me. So, so it depend upon the prompt, how better prompts you give, it will create the component on the basis of that. So let me still working. Let me. So I have already created the same component using these prompts. So let me show you cycle again. So this is the component we have created. And if we refresh this page,
Mhm.
So now, if you compare the design with Figma, it is almost 50 to 60% is matching with the Figma design. So we need to
Yep.
do some customization, and our component is ready with the help of the MCP server. Yeah.
If you see
That is
overall, this
great.
is yeah, overall this is really very powerful, right? And when you're writing, uh, when you're working in a sprint, right? Uh, you have stories, you have a design. If you're following a predefined process, if you have a right access on your Figma, you can really bring your unit testing, as part of this flow as well, right? So you take the design, you take the design input, build through entire process, and have your unit testing uh, executed to the end. So this is really helpful in terms of learning, in terms of increasing your productivity. And if 8 hour of work is done and you're only spending 4 hours on it, that will really helps value. And I'm sure the way Sitecore is moving towards this building, it's really gonna be a game changing. And I'm sure you already might be using it internally. What we do, we go to ChatGPT, we do typing and take the code and bring it to the editor. But this is integrated within your project scope, ID, understand the project, what project you are working in. You have right access, so you can define that entire pipeline end to end to leverage the MCP. And the best part is it is also available for Sitecore XP, right? Where you have more complexity in building components rather than what you have in XM Cloud. So
Yes.
I think uh, these are the some key references, right, which you can definitely refer, learn, right, for any more detailing. That's all what we have. If you have any question, you can take that.
Now, any questions, guys? I think that's a really great presentation, both of you, Arun and Ritesh, because demo is not so easy in a short duration of time. So I think the demo was very well, and also the overall context and how does it work and how can we move to next level with our coding and other things. So I think it was really insightful presentation. Any other queries or anybody has any question related to MCP or XM Cloud? Or we can also implement this to XP who are still working with XP. If they want to upgrade also, this might be helpful. Any questions, guys? If not, we are good to go for this week.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time
Okay.
and I hope you
Thanks,
leverage the
everyone.
benefit of
Thank you,
it.
Ritesh and Arun.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Yeah, yeah. That was really good presentation. Thanks all. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Thanks all. Bye.